Wanted to ask about Alyssa. She wasn't out there tonight. Do you have an update on what her availability is going forward?
We have no timeline for return. She's out for personal reasons.
Thank you, Jack. And then Casey.
Just 3 for 28 from three in those first 3 quarters. Just what are you looking for from this offense going forward, especially now that you have a week to work on it?
Yeah, I think it's something that we can fix. We are not that bad of three-point shooters. We are definitely stronger drivers than we are shooters, but it shouldn't be that rough. I'm surprised the fourth quarter percentage was as high as it was, to be honest, but that's good. That's a promising sign. It takes a lot of time to gel, to be able to hit threes when you're tired, hit them in pace. And so that percentage will go up, and a lot of it is shot selection, a lot of it is one more, a lot of it is, hey, we settled for a 3 when we had a layup, and I think everyone can see that.
Why do you think Kanaya was able to be such a breath of fresh air in the fourth?
Yeah, I think she had a different mindset coming into this game. I think she was really good in shoot around. She was good in practice the day before. She was talking. I think when she is talking and she's a leader and she's having fun, that's when she's at her best. She is a phenomenal defender, and I think she's that spark player for us. Is she will get on a 50-50 ball. She will go rip down a rebound. She doesn't do anything for herself. It's all about for her teammates, and players like her are invaluable.
Next to Maria.
Coach, a lot of Power 4 teams don't want to play the mid-major in-state because of an upset can happen. But you've lined up 4 in a row, and Belmont he was just saying how appreciative they were of being willing to even go there. Just what was your thinking in terms of playing all 4 of these in-state teams, or did it just line up that way?
It kind of lined up like that in the order. I think that some of them were return games that we already had in building the schedule. I think anytime you take over a job, it takes some time to build your schedule out the way you want, because you're still finishing up contracts from the previous coaching staff, and then you're starting to take some games that maybe you don't necessarily want to take, but you're taking them just to fill your schedule in a rush, and then that comes with the return games. This game on the schedule is on the schedule because they're one of the third NCAA tournament team, and you want to play them early, and you want to see what you're made of, and you want to see if you respond, and that team is going to they beat P4 teams every year. So we knew that we were getting a test out of it, and our schedule this year is just we're playing whoever we can play, and we're trying to grow from it and learn from it. And again, I get asked a lot, what are you changing? What are you changing? How do you grow? What do you learn? I didn't learn anything about my team last year in November. Nothing. We're learning a lot right now.
Cora, and then Theo.
Felt like at times that offense, they just don't have a lot of cohesion yet. Just Is that something you expect to improve after getting in some more practices next week? And do you feel like you've seen it improve a little bit game by game, or is that still kind of up and down?
I think the offense is still up and down. Obviously, it's not where we want it to be. Some things are getting a little bit better. I mean, sense of urgency was at least relevant at times today. Playing hard was relevant at times. Our press looked like we actually had a press. So we're taking some steps forward. But again, when you have one day of practice and then the next day is, all right, a prep day, and you have to kind of manage your load, it's tough to really hammer some things home. So I think all of it will get better.
You talked about, well, both the players talked about how it's a game of runs, and you were talking about it being a game of runs tonight. So what do you think about tonight's execution allowed for the team to have the right runs at the right time and finish on top?
Yeah, I thought that we were poised when we needed to be poised. That was good to learn about your team. It was good to see. We wanted to really guard the three-point line. They were making 10 threes a game. We were making 10 threes a game. And whenever you play a team that shoots the ball like we do and takes and makes more threes than we do, then you know it's going to come in chunks. And it did for them. Right? They got hot. They saw a few come in. They got a spark, and then we did the same thing. We just hit our run at the right time.
Kim, you've told us a lot about how your teams don't perform well early in the season.
I hate November.
Kind of click later on. Last year didn't feel like the team had this much issues early on. Do you attribute that this year to the tougher schedule?
Absolutely. And that's why we played it, and that's why we did it here, is to figure it out early, because I do think when you look back at our body of work last year, we figured this out late February. We figured this out. We had a stretch of games where we kind of figured some things out, and it was too late to learn. If you don't play hard, it doesn't work. If you take bad shots, it doesn't work. You don't learn it early. We're learning it now.
You mentioned promising signs earlier. What's one thing that made you excited about this younger team going forward?
Yeah, I think our freshmen, any time you can put freshmen or new players in time and score situations, you have film, you can show this turnover didn't need to happen here, this shot didn't need to happen here. Let's learn this. It's so much easier to teach them when they are watching themselves than if you're just talking to them or you're watching a team from the past or a different team.
You were talking about you didn't learn much about your team last year in November. Is there anything that stands out over these 4 games that you've really kind of seen that maybe you didn't catch last year or that you're glad you're catching right now?
Yeah, I think the effort and the energy and the shot selection right now are the really important ones, of that if we're not playing together, if we're not playing hard, it's going to look bad. And I think we went through that late in the year, and it's good to get it out of the way. And then hopefully, and the majority of my teams have figured it out towards the end of November. And I was telling somebody the other day, in my family, in my household, when I go home for Thanksgiving, I would tell my grandma, we're not talking about basketball, because I was miserable. We're not speaking about basketball. I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to come home, but do not ask me one question. And then by Christmas, you can talk about it, and by the end of the year, you're happy. And that's the season of my life. So I know that November is usually rough.
Go next to Casey, Jack, Paige, and Maria.
Is there a way when there's a player in a flow, kind of like Talasia was, especially in that first half, to get it to translate to the rest of the offense? Or is it kind of more individual basis when those players get in a flow offensively?
Yeah, I obviously love our offense the best when we have multiple weapons. We have not multiple people hitting. I think we got that at the end in the fourth quarter. I like it better when it's consistent.
You were talking about rebounds, and I believe you used the phrase, they just have to do it. So tonight, 23 offensive rebounds, out-rebounding Belmont fairly significantly. Just what do you think went into that execution tonight?
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about if we don't do it, we don't win. And they had a really, really close game against Oklahoma. I think they were tied, very similar to our game. They were tied close to going in the fourth, right around that time, and Oklahoma out-rebounded them. And they should out-rebound them. They're bigger. And we talked about that. If we don't out-rebound this team, we don't win. And so I think they took that to heart. They listened. That's another positive.
Tonight, Boyd had a couple of back-to-back games with double-digit minutes. Just 6 tonight. Is there something that she can do in practice, or how do you see her maybe getting more involved in the games after what we saw late in the fourth? Maybe she'll say.
Kanaya?
Yeah, did I say Kanaya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had 14.
Who was that?
I don't know. That's all right.
So what's she doing in practice to continue to get double digits?
Yeah, she's just continuing. KB's just continuing to work. She's continuing to play. Again, she was big for us tonight. And we need that out of her going forward. So I hope that that's a really good positive step from today's game, is that she kind of gets her juice, her confidence back, and then she can could just continue to grow.
Coach, you said you learned a lot about your team in November. What have you learned?
Well, we are still learning, and we are still learning that if you don't play hard, it's not going to work. And this is more so about them trying to figure it out, right? Them learning space and pace, and when to take a three and when to turn it down, and when to foul and when not to foul, and when we are having a frustration turnover because we don't like what just happened. And you're learning how to close games down the stretch, and you're learning who your leaders are, and you're learning who will make the selfless play, and you're learning all of those things in all of these difficult games. And I think we're not where we need to be, but you have to figure it out now. You have to.
I'll take the final one from Cora.
There was a nice offensive possession in the first quarter. The screens going, getting the ball moving. Janiyah got her 1 3-pointer that she made. Is that the kind of stuff you want them to do more of, or what are you looking for offensively from this team?
Yeah, offensively, we want more ball movement. We want to be able to straight line drive, get all the way to the rim after the ball's been swung a couple times and we're attacking off of a closeout. First and foremost, we want to score in transition. We're not even running in transition, so that's going to be non-existent. It was existent at the end of the game. I don't know why we decided to run then. No idea. And then sharing the ball screen offense, driving, kicking, playing 2 feet out of the paint, relocating to the top of the key. If you don't have an open shot, then one more. We are going to take a lot of threes. I mean, we practice it. I'm going to give them that freedom. Our percentage will get better, but we can't be a team that lives and dies by it, and you've got to shoot it with confidence, and you have to have teammates that are going to go get your offensive rebound, and that's a big part of threes. That if you take one, even if you take a bad one, your teammates aren't going to pout. They're going to go get the ball. We're going to kick it back out, and we're going to play. And we had some good offensive possessions where we had multiple offensive rebounds. But I mean, there's not a lot great about our offense right now. Our finishing isn't good. Our passing isn't good. Our shooting isn't good. And again, there's a lot of excuses we can make. We just have to fix it.
Right. Thank you.